Hello, everybody. As a reminder, I'm not a lawyer or an engineer. In my opinion, this is how you might get entrapped into a school bus stop violation, where the bus is stopped unloading or loading children, and you're required to stop, but you don't. You pass the bus. So I'll try to go ahead and make this quick. I made this graphic to try to cover or visualize what I was trying to convey in the earlier videos I did. I did one for Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Virginia. So let's go ahead and jump into it. It's based off of Figure 2.11 in most states' commercial driver's license manual. And Figure 2.11 can be found in Section 2.6.1, Perception, Reaction, and Stopping Distances. Every state has a commercial driver's license manual, I believe, and what it is it's designed, it's a state test designed to teach you and expand your knowledge before you are able to drive a school bus, air brake vehicle, all the way up to an 18-wheeler. So, tight on time, so let's get right into it. The teal, perception reactionary time. That's the time where you're driving, you see a hazard in the road, going the speed limit. You see the hazard, your brain says you need to stop. It sends a signal to your foot. You lift your foot off the gas, and just before you apply the brake, that is the perception reactionary time. This is to show you how much ground you will cover. The blue, the Maryland light warning requirement, is found in Maryland Law 22-228, subsection D. The purple is the New York warning light requirement. I could only find that in the New York Commercial Driver's License Manual, section 10.2.1. Most CDLs, chapter 10, if they have it, Pennsylvania does not, covers school bus operations. The green, the Virginia warning light requirement, found in the Virginia Law 46.2-1090. And Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania warning light requirement, PA, is found in Pennsylvania Law Title 75, Section 3345. Now, it should be noted that Pennsylvania has a different Figure 2.11 than what's shown here. They show less time for total stopping distances, and then towards the end, they'll go ahead and you get more time when you get into your, I believe it's your 45 and 55 mile an hour stoppings. Okay, we have a football field here, and then we have a bunch of trucks. Now below the trucks, you'll see a gray box followed by a white box. Those two boxes together, the first is your perception reaction time, the white is your reactionary distance time. That's what the teal is. So before the brakes are even applied, this is how much ground you're most likely going to cover. I went ahead and I put these red flags here at the poles to kind of indicate different states' main threshold points for stopping, or the amber light notice. So this is based off of how much amber warning light a school bus gives you. That's it. And in blue, we have Maryland, and you only get 100 feet of amber light warning notice. So in Maryland law, they say the minimum amount of amber light warning a bus needs to give you is 100 feet. And you can see how that cuts into your stopping distances the faster you are going. Now, they also have what's called a stop and pop. So when the bus comes to a stop, they are required by law to engage red lights. Once the red lights are going, if you pass that bus, it's a violation. So they give you 100 feet of amber light notice, and then when they establish stop, boom, violation on. So you can see how, if you're going faster, it could really cut that time out for you. The orange, Pennsylvania, they have what's called the PennDOT has what's called the Pennsylvania School Bus Driver's Manual. Again, their law says 150 feet, but not more than 300 feet. Their manual, however, has a stop and pop. And what it is, like I said, most states it's section 10.2.1 on the approach and when stopping. There's a section in there that says a school bus is to come to a stop, check to make sure the vehicles are a safe distance, then deploy the stop arm. But when Pennsylvania wrote theirs, they said that the school bus is to come to a stop, engage its red lights, deploy stop arm, and then check to see if vehicles are a safe distance. So they worded it backwards. Scrolling down, Virginia has two different ones. If you're going under 35 miles an hour, it's only 100 feet. And if you're going over 35 miles an hour, it's 200 feet. And you can see how those kind of cut into just above the 35, and well, if you're going over 45 miles an hour, you might not get the time you need of warning before the bus comes to a stop. They are supposed to check for the area to be clear, then deploy stop arm, but I've seen people practice it differently in the state where they'll stop and just throw the arm out. And then New York has the most footage. Again, it's not protected in their New York state law. I believe it's VTL 1174 and VTL 1174A, which is the camera side of it. I have not seen the 300 feet, but their commercial driver's license manual does say when a car comes to a stop, they're supposed to check to make sure vehicles are a safe distance before deploying stop arm. How can you deter what is a safe distance? I'm not sure. I believe they need to kind of be looking into these charts to see if there needs to be extra footage, or let the cars pass through before they deploy the arm. Okay, I believe that's all I have here. And just a reminder, these trucks are only going one direction. Now remember, when you're on where this stop and pop is, let's pretend that's a car, and you're closing in on that truck, it's going to cut into your amber light footage, or closing in towards the school bus, it's going to cut into your amber light notice. So the question is, will you have the proper visualization to stop when you need to? This isn't standardized. Every state has different requirements on when you need to stop. If it's 2 lanes, if it's 4 lanes, sometimes they say there has to be a divide in the highway. I think 3 states say they don't want the divide in the highway. If you're on the approach and it's 4 lanes, you don't have to stop, but most states have the divide in the highway. Again, it's a lot to process, and I just wish you to be safe out there. Kids are fragile, and these are 2-ton and to 20-ton vehicles. I think buses are 20 tons. So do your best. Remember, these semis behind you, these 18-wheelers, are going to need time to stop. And according to PennDOT's manual, if a semi is unloaded, it's going to need more time to stop than what's reflected here. And that's the final thing. This is drawn up for dry, flat road conditions. So ideal, perfect conditions with perfect weights or perfect brakes, everything maintained adequately. So again, be safe out there, everybody, and I wish you the best.